Good afternoon, viewers, investors, partners, and everyone who cares about the LLC's Sovelmash project. We are in the Machine Tool Gallery, and in this video, we're going to talk about the machines. We'll discuss what has arrived, what we're going to do with it, and why we need this equipment. A lot of equipment is arriving at our facility. Right now, you can see a 3-axis machine, a vertical milling machine, and it's currently undergoing commissioning and setup. Here we see specialized tool cases to commissioning engineer. Notice that there are quite a few similar machines here now. Some of the machines are duplicates, meaning they are identical. First and foremost, we need this equipment to create tooling and molds for working with larger scale equipment, that is, the equipment required for mass production. For example, these are molds for injection molding machines, used to cast housing parts for handheld power tools, controllers, and many other items. And naturally, we can't afford to have equipment sitting idle when we move into the production cycle. That's why, to keep the process continuous, we purchase duplicate machines. Not only can one machine be used to produce one item while another is already making the next, but a third machine serves as a backup, because if one of the machines breaks down, production shouldn't come to a halt. As you can see, the machines are identical. In this case, they're lathes, and all of this is necessary for exactly those same reasons. And of course, if we're talking about producing small batches of various products, especially those with high profit margins, then with enough of this kind of equipment, you could also manufacture such batches. But the main goal is still to ensure uninterrupted production, to create materials, tools, and fixtures for the operation of the main equipment. Don't forget about prototyping. Naturally, the facility is filled not only with machining centers, lathes, and milling machines, but also, in particular, with specialized equipment. This is a gear cutting machine, which allows us to make gears and other products. You can find such equipment on the market, but it's quite a unique thing. The same can be said about this very machine. It's a 2-axis lathe, but there's a small addition. Here is a bar feeder, which, like a magazine for a weapon, supplies rods there for turning shafts, axles, and so on. But this equipment is more suitable for prototyping, for setting up processes, and so on. In other words, its throughput, let's say, isn't very high. If we're talking about really large production runs, this option won't work for us. We won't be talking about everything that comes to us in this video. Because, besides these machines, we've also just received climate chambers, which will allow our laboratory to test a number of finished products for compliance with the requirements we set for them. But that's a topic for a separate video. So don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and keep an eye out for our next episodes, because we'll show and explain what climate chambers are and what they're used for. But I'm sure that this equipment won't surprise our viewers, investors, or partners, because we've already shown videos of what it looks like, and some of you have seen it in person. So now, let's take a look at some truly large-scale industrial equipment for manufacturing engine shafts. This is called a cold heading machine, and it's truly powerful equipment. Just look at its size. You're seeing it in right now, but in terms of width, it barely fits through our gates. Our employees are transporting it with quite a bit of emotion, and you can understand why. The size is really impressive, and so is the weight. Let's take a closer look. And here are all the components for the cold heading machine. Here we can see the spool that will feed the metal rod. It's quite large and substantial. Next, we see more components, but I don't yet know what they're for. We'll need to open them up and see what's inside. And judging by the size of the machine, which somewhat resembles a separate room, about the size of a residential apartment, really, it's clear that some kind of ramp is needed. You'll need to go up on it in order to properly operate the machine itself. Actually, it's large-scale equipment, which is what we need for mass production. Because what does a cold heading machine? This rod, fed into the machine, is inserted there. Then, a strike occurs, that is, shafts and axles of the required diameter and size are cut, with a production rate of 6 pieces per second. For large-scale production batches, this is a great solution. After that, these axles and shafts move to the next operations. They are machined for the bearing seat, and so on. But one of the main operations that really significantly slows us down in production is precisely indeed the large amount of time required to manufacture the shafts themselves. This equipment completely solves that problem. But thanks to the magic of cinema, which lets us use a sort of time machine, we'll end this video right at the moment when the machine is brought inside the building. And once again, you can see for yourself just how massive this whole operation is. Be sure, I'll say it again, to subscribe, hit the like button, leave your comments, and ask questions. The project is now in its final stage of implementation. We are already preparing both for mass production and for our main operations. So to stay up to date, make sure to follow us. The finish line is already in sight.